Alright guys, so we're going to talk about arm bars today, which is probably the most common submission that there is, and we're going to try to get it from pretty much every position that there is. And so to start off, we want to talk about the 5 principles of a good arm bar, which is basically, it's going to be different for different types of arm bars a little bit, but it's still going to be most of the same. So cutting arm bars are going to be a little bit different, but basically you have to control the top of the lever, which is going to be the part that you're holding on to, that like the wrist. The bottom of the lever is going to be your shoulder, and then the middle of the lever that's we're going to be breaking, we have to be able to put leverage on that. So that's going to be the one difference between that, but for most arm bars, we're going to be going over the 5 points to it, which are going to be that I have my boots on, I'm going to draw my heels in, that's point 1. I'm going to have hip penetration, which means that his shoulder is as high up into my junk as it possibly can be, with my knees pulled in as tight as they can, top of the lever, and then hips up to finish that arm bar. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Jet going ahead, starting in the bottom of the mount position. And we're just going to do kind of a basic drill here, right? So if you guys are doing going with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, maybe you're in a bar fight or whatever, a lot of times people might be trying to punch you from the bottom, but you know, first of all, if he tries to punch me right now, like even really goes at it, like it's going to be really hard for him to do from the bottom of the mount position. But a lot of times, like, people will feel this like weight on top of them, and their first instinct is to start to try to push you off or whatever. So Jet's going to go ahead and just extend his arms up really quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my hand on his chest here, and if I need to, I can block the elbow. I'm going to put my weight on my hands. So remember that I can't move my legs if my weight's on my legs, right? So I need to move my weight from my legs onto something else, right? So I'm going to put my weight on my partner so that he can't move out of position, and this is going to make it light for me to swing that leg over. Be very careful of your partner's head, and that's just kind of a good start right there, is to just have him extend his arm up. I'm going to put my weight onto my hand. I might trap near the elbow, but not 100% necessary. Swing wide. And notice that when I'm coming down, I'm trying to land my hips as far under his shoulder as I possibly can. So if Jet moves this way really quick, you see that I am right underneath his shoulder here. If I plop backwards and I go for the arm to try to break his arm, his elbow is past. So like I can, right? That was me really muscling it. Nothing's going to happen there. Jet's not even going to notice it. So you can take this a little bit slower, right? So I put my weight up here, come up into a squat position, swing my hips down, and connect my hips to his arm and slide down the pole. A lot of times as I'm sliding down, I'll engage my heels and draw them in. So it's going to help keep me pulled in that direction. If you do flop back a little bit, I like to get a katami grip or triangle grip on his arm, and I'm going to push him away, right? I'm not going to try to pull him into me. I don't want to drag him across the mat. That's going to be really hard for me to do. But instead, I'm just going to roll him onto his side, bring my hips in deeper, squeeze, draw my heels in, come down, and break his arm. Now, when Jet tries to escape from a basic arm bar, he's usually going to try to sit up first, right? And he can't, if he did that, he could potentially stack me. So if Jet tries to really roll up and stack me, I'm going to try to keep this posture, right? He keeps coming up onto his hands and knees, and he tries to like put me on my shoulders and all that. It's going to be really hard for him to do because I still have this structure here. If I'm lazy about it, he's totally getting me out of this arm bar. But even from here, I can totally finish it from here, right? So that's really important that I try to have my boots on, toes drawn back as far as I can. I've got my heels drawn in as far as I can, and I've got this 90-degree bend here, 90-degree bend here, and no matter what he does, I'm going to maintain that. Right? It's going to make it very hard for him, especially with my knees pinned together, to start to get his arm out. All right? The next thing that he's going to probably try to do is he's going to lock up onto his hands, right? So there's a couple things. So you see how he's really covering here? Right? And he's trying to hold that in so I can't necessarily get it up. What I can do here is I can take my hand and I'm going to put it underneath his far side arm. And I'm going to create a blade that's going to go over his other wrists. I'm just going to slide down. And that will usually break the grip. If I can't get in there, he's like really pinching it down, his arms really in there tight. I might try to be able to get some type of space in here by just kind of leaning to the side a little bit. I'm going to take this bottom foot and I'll put it right in here by his bicep. So no matter how hard he's squeezing here, if I try to just push away, I might not be able to break it. But instead, I'm going to do a dog who's getting scratched, right? So I'm shaking that leg, and it's going to be really, really hard for him to hold on to that grip, right? And then I can go right back down into it. The reason why I'm doing this bottom leg here, right, not the top leg, is that one of the things he's going to try to do to defend, once I get this here, is he's going to pass that leg over his head and try to turn up into me. If he does that, he's getting triangled, right? If I do it with the other leg, right, he can grab over here on my hip with this arm, the one I'm trying to attack, and he can get onto his side and he can start to run around here and get off of my legs, and now I've got to deal with this shit, right? Sure, he's kind of walking into a little bit of an omoplata here, but a lot of times when he's doing that, he might be able to actually get that arm out. He might be able to create space, so it's going to be harder for me to hit that omoplata. So, going back to what we're really talking about here is just, if somebody is extending their arms up, I just post on him, get into a squat position, keeping my weight on him, swing my leg around his head. If you can't pick up your leg, that means there's weight on it. So you have to shift your weight off that leg so you can move it, get close to his shoulder, and then slide down that pole, trying to keep as close connection with your hips to his shoulder as you possibly can on the way down. All right, so that's just gonna be a basic, I'm extending my arms and basically begging you to armbar me beginner here, right?